They'll sit there. Tanya Namahachi. We learned the Brisa that supports the same idea. Hamispalal tzorich sheyish shah achas kodim tefillah. One who davens has to wait an hour before his tefillah, and there's a shayla of shah achas means a full hour or not. The shah achas achat tefillah. Kodim tefillah minayin. How do you know before his tefillah? Shenemar ashra yoshve v'secha lachat tefillah minayin dechsev ach tzadikim yoydu l'shmecha yeshvu yisharim es panecha. Tanu Rabban Chasidim harishonim hu yishoyin shah achas u'mispalin shah achas v'choyzvin v'shoyin shah achas. So that's 3 hours, and they daven how many times a day? 3 times a day. So they're tied up with davening 9 hours a day. If they're davening 9 hours a day, how are they going to watch their Torah? And this means, and I'm going to get to a little shtickle in a second, these are already Hasidim, so these are already people who learn Torah, these people who are already Talmid Chacham. How are they going to remember it if they're not going to have time to chazer? And how in the world are they going to earn parnasa if they don't work? Like the Olam sent around yesterday, the biggest school for parnasa that the Satan Rebbe sent out was working. Working is the greatest school for parnasa. When are they going to do that? Ella mitoich shechasidim heim, because they're chasidim. Tayrasa mishtameres, so Rashi b'soich libam she'ein talmudam mishtakach. They'll be able to retain and remember their learning without chazering, because they're chasidim harishonim. They're chasidim. Umalachta mishbareches, and they'll also have to work very little, and they'll be able to make a lot of parnasa. Rav Gurvitz was here in Toronto, I think in the last year, and he quoted, very interesting, that there's 3 times in Shas where a similar Gemara to this is presented about Chasidim or Rishonim. If you're davening 9 hours a day, how are they going to have time to learn, and how are they going to have time to make parnasa? So the lashon over here is Teiras Heich Mishtameres. I believe in other places it says Teiras Heich Nasis, and there was another nusach. There's 3 different words that are being used on the Torah. So Rav Gurvitz asked, why is there a difference between each of the 3 sugyas as to how the question is phrased with Teiras Heich Mishtameres? So he says, the first one, the nusach was such a nusach. I was trying to remember where the sugyas were to look them up, and I couldn't find them. But the first one was referring to a regular person, and and I think the lashon is, how do they learn Torah? Because there's someone who, if you're davening all day, where are you going to have a chance to learn? The second one was this one is Teiras Heich Mishameres. They learn Torah, but how are they going to chazer? And the third time the Gemara discusses this sugya, it's already talking about people who are established and already know Kol Torah Kula, and there that I think the lashon was Teiras Heich Nasis. How are they going to have time to be mechadish Divrei Torah if they're not going to be able to spend time on it? So this Gemara really talks to all types of people from all walks of life. And the short answer is, if we're be'emes chasidim rishonim and we're be'emes davening to the Rebbeinu Shalom, everything else will fall into place. Zok the heilige Gemara weiter. Afilu hamelech shoyel b'shloimoi lo yashivenu. Even if the king, you're in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei, and the king greets you, you should ignore him. Amar Rabbi Yosef, lo shonu el malchi Yisrael. That you should ignore a king who greets you is a melech Yisrael who understands what Kriyishma is, what davening is, what davening to the Rebbeinu Shalom is, and he won't kill you over it. But a Goyish king, who Rashi says, you have to stop, Shema Yehargenu, Shalo Yehargenu, so he shouldn't kill you. If you ignore the greeting of a king, that's something that can put your life into danger, and no one's suggesting that should be done. So therefore, Poisik. Meisvei, the Gemara asks Akasha, Hamispalo, Vera Anas Ba Kenegda. He sees a gangster coming who's going to kill him or attack him. Or Ra Karin Ba Kenegda. He sees a wagon coming to a chariot, a wagon coming towards him. A truck's coming down the street. It's going to run him over. Lo Yehei Mafsik. He should not stop. Ela Mekatzer Va'oila. he should shorten his tefillah, which is very schwer because we just said for Malchi Akim your Posuk, if you're in a sakana, you have to stop and get out of the way. Yet this Brachos seems to say you shouldn't stop. You should just try to rush it up. So loy kasha, there's not a steer at all. It all depends on what the circumstances are. Had efshel katcher. If you're right at the end of Shemona Esrei and you can quickly finish up and get out of harm's way, then of course that's what you should do. But if there is no way to do that without being mafsik, of course you're safe if you're mazel. It depends on if you're seichel or mazel. What happened was there's two friends, seichel and mazel. One of them decided that he's going to lie down in the middle of the street. He's going to lie down. And his friend seichel says, "Are you crazy? You're going to get run down by a truck. I'm going to stand off to the side because I don't want to get killed." So he says, "Okay." Anyway, this truck comes barreling down the street and sees that Mazel is lying there on the street. So he veers off the road to avoid him and he kills Eichel. So, look more about it. Ma'ase b'chazer echad, shoyim espal b'derech. Bo sar echad v'nosan lo shalom, v'lo hichsher lo shalom. Asar, apparently a goyish asar, greeted the chazer echad, and I believe a chazer echad is Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava or Rabbi Yehuda ben Eloi, I think it's one of those two people. Does the article say who the chazer echad is? Because normally when it says chazer echad, it means one of those people. And what happened was, the sar, Himtin loy at Yeshayim tefillah.
I just want to know if Chaim underline Chassid Echad is also a Manda Omer in the Gemara.
Did the Manda Omer say anything?
Yes. So we'll see. Yeah, we're about to see what he said. Himtin loy at Yeshayim tefillah. The Sar patiently waited until the Chassid Echad finished davening. Lachash Yeshayim tefillah. After he finished davening, Amalei told him, "Reka, you're cuckoo in the head. You're missing your brains." V'aloi kosev v'taraschem, in your own Torah it says, "Raki shomer lecha." You have to watch yourself. It also says, not once, so it says again, so let me ask you something, Mr. Chassid. When I greeted you, why did you not respond? Do you not know if I would ISIS your head off? Who would come and be able to take me to task? Nobody. So the Chassid Echad answered, and here's where he becomes a man Amar. Amar le, he said, "Hamten acha feisecha b'dvarim." Please, my dear Sar, give me a moment to explain myself and to share with you my position. Amar le, and this is what he said: Ilu hayisa oymid lefnei melech basar v'dam. Now you're a Sar. If you were standing in front of the king himself, and your friend will come and greet you, Hayisa Machserloi, would you respond to your friend? Im lav, Amalei lav. He said, "No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want to take that chance of in today's language of dissing the king." And if you would respond to the king, what would they do to you? I'll tell you exactly what they would do. They would cut off my head with a sword. So he told him. The Chassid Echad told the Sar, so you understand a little bit my position. You, if you were standing in front of a mere mortal king, today he's here, and tomorrow he's going to die. Kach ani, so to myself. Oh, I'm sorry. Kach, shayom kan mocha bekever kach, ani myself. So you see, I'm in the melech malchem lachem hakadosh baruch hu, shehu chai v'kayim la'ad la'olma elamim. I'm in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom, who's here forever. Alachas kama v'kama. Should I not, for sure, be careful not to interrupt? So the Sar said, interesting point. Miyad nespayis oisei asar. So everybody asks, very nice story, but are you allowed to put yourself into such a makam sakana? How did he have a right to do something like that? He's playing with his life. So one of the pshatim that are offered is that the Chassid Echad knew who the Sar was, and he knew the Sar was not someone who makes fast decisions, who's passionate and reactionary. Rather, he's a person who always liked to understand things. V'haraya, exactly. V'haraya, he even stopped to ask him. Why? He stood there and he waited and he asked, tell me why you did it. So clearly he wasn't just someone who did things in haste. He thought things over, he pondered, he wanted to understand. So the Chassid Echad knew, in fact, that he wasn't in danger, and he knew that he would be able to properly explain it.
Even more. The fact that he said good morning to him first shows his
So you see, it's a very good point. He saw from the Sar, normally the Sar wouldn't even greet him. The fact that the Sar greeted him first shows that he was a personal type of guy, and he would not have just looked and knocked his head off.
It's important that he greeted him, because that's the way I think that that's the only way how he recognized him, because he wouldn't be looking around during Shemona Esrei. Because he heard his voice, oh, that was Stephen.
That must mean Stephen Harper. Yeah, I understand. It wasn't Justin. No, I'm just saying, you said Stephen. Okay. Zogt a hele Gemara weiter. Afilu nachash korach ala kevoi lo yafsik. Even if somebody, are we going to have to register this year as like a broadcast?
Register like...
Because they're making a new law. Yeah, they're making a new law that anyone who wants to broadcast has to register.
You can dip into the $600 million.
That's an idea. You know what? I think Justin would for sure never kill anybody. He's reasonable, and he would discuss it, and he would never just kill somebody like that. And he would for sure greet somebody first.
I thought you were going to bring in Trump and Pelosi.
I started.
It's a suffix on the handshake, if it was real. It's a suffix. Okay. Anyway, they're current like Zardinai. If you're makbid on the Gia, current like Zardinai.
She wanted to tear off his head. She just ripped his
Amar Sheshes, Lo Shanu Elo Nachash. That we learned, that one should not interrupt the Shemona Esrei if there's a animal around them. It means a snake. Snakes are relatively tame. It will not harm you if it's not instigated. Aval, Akrev, but if it's a scorpion, they're really bad. They'll instigate. They'll start. A snake is worse than a lion, and a scorpion is worse than a snake. That's right. Aval Akrev Pasuk, but for a scorpion you stop. Now it could be they had much tamer snakes in those days, but generally today, if there was a snake around you, I suggest that you split. But normally, a normal snake will generally not attack you if it's not instigated. What's the word for it? If you don't chopper it. Sorry?
Agitated.
Not agitated. Provoked. Yeah, if you don't provoke. Like I know there's an island in Georgian Bay called Beau Soleil Island, which it's a federal park, and it's the home of the rattlesnake. There are more rattlesnakes on that island than anywhere else. But when you walk the pathways, you don't see any snakes, and they tell you that as long as you're on the main path, it won't come out. No rattlesnakes will come out and bite you. But if you step into the brush and you step on one, you provoke it, then it's likely to bite you. Zogt Gemara, Meisvei, Nafal Lagoy Varoyes. So now we're talking about lions. What if one fell into a lion's den? And this is a Shaila Lagabe and Aguna. Adam saw that someone fell into a lion's den. Can they now come and say Eidos that this woman is an almana and she may remarry? So the Allah is Ein Ma'idin Alav Shemeis. That's not proof positive that the man died. It's possible that the lions did not attack him. Rashi says, sometimes the lions are simply not hungry, and they won't eat him. However, but if he fell into a pit of nechashim and akravim, then that's for sure that he was attacked and he'll die. So you see, nechashim are just like akravim, and you do have to be worried that they'll attack. So tomorrow, there's a very big difference. Shiny hasam, dagav ititza maski. If you fall on them and hit them and crush them, sure, they're going to attack. However, normally they won't bother you if unprovoked. Rabbi Yitzchak, Rosh Shvorim, if you see oxen are dangerous. Posuk, you stop and get out of the way. Titani Rabbi Yishia, Marchikin Mishor Tam Chamishim Ama, a short time which is a shore that never did any damage. So it has a cheskes kasher, so to speak. Nevertheless, you stay 50 amas away from it. Umishar Mud, and if it's a shar mud, Kamal Einov, you stay as far away from it as it could see. That's what they say. If you see a lion, you're supposed to hope that the lion doesn't see you. So that means Kabbalah Einov. You want to stay far away that it can't see you. Tan Mishmed Reb Meir. Reish Tur B'Dikula. What if you see an ox that's distracted because it has a bag of food hanging from its neck and its face is buried in the food, completely distracted? Solik le'igra v'shodi dager mitusach. Climb up a tree or climb up to a second level and pull the staircase up. Pull up the ladder. In other words, it's not literally, it's figuratively. Run away as far as you can and protect yourself, because even when the shiur is distracted, it's still a very dangerous animal. Amar Shmuel Hanamili b'shor shachar. This that we say that shavarim are very dangerous is only if it's a black ox, uvayoyim nisan, and if it's springtime. Mipnei shasaka hasatan meraked loy bein karnav. During the spring, the satan is dancing between the horns of an ox, and that's again a figurative speech. And what it means to say is, when all winter long there's not so much food available in the meadows, there's not grass, there's nothing for the shiur to eat. Suddenly, there's a rebirth of the land all around him, and there's grass and there's vegetation, and he's a hungry person. He's a hungry person about to enter a big wedding. He's going to go crazy. So that's what we're worried about. Imagine you're starved, you didn't eat a whole day, and you walk into a mega smorg. That's very, very dangerous. In all diet workshops, they tell you never go into an all-you-can-eat place when you're very hungry. It's too dangerous.
There are other factors that are also because it's seasonal because of their hormones change, right? The mating seasons, there's a rut, something called a rut, that suddenly their behavior completely changes.
So it could be, but Rashi speaks out specifically the fact that suddenly he sees a whole bunch of food. Taner Rabbanan. If you ever heard the saying a bull in a china shop, that's nothing compared to a bull in a restaurant, right? Because he's hungry. Taner Rabbanan. Ma'aseh b'makom echad. Oh, this is a Murdika story. Very, very famous story. Ma'aseh b'makom echad shoya orid. There was an orid. Now an orid is a cross between a nachash, a snake, and a tzlav. And I don't know what that is, but the ArtScroll touches it as a toad. So it's some type of cross between a snake and a toad. Very dangerous animal. It's a lizard. Okay. And Rabbi Elephant touched it as a scorpion, unless he slipped. I don't know. V'hayamazik as a brius. And this orid was biting people and causing people to be harmed. Bo v'haydiyoi loy l'Rab Chanina ben Doisa. So they told Rab Chanina ben Doisa about this. Amalem, he said, Herili eschayri, show me where his hole is. Heru eschayri, they showed Rab Chanina ben Doisa the hole where this orid was. Nasan akevoy al piachar, he put his ankle right there, not his ankle, the bottom of his foot over there. Yatsa, it came out of course, v'nashchai, and it bit him, umeis oisei orid, and the orid died. So let's see what's really causing the death. Not le'al kaseva, he picked up this orid and put it on his shoulder. V'yavir the Beis HaMedrash, and he brought it to the Beis HaMedrash to make a statement. He said, Re'u b'anai, kik mantayir kindalach. Ein orid memis. The orid is not what kills. Alachet memis. It's a virus that kill, because since I wasn't royal lemisa, I didn't die. But Oisa Shah Amru, at that time they said, Oy loy la'adam shepaga by orid. Woe is the man who bumps into an orid. But that's nothing. Oy loy la'orid shepaga by Rab Chanina ben Doisa. Woe is to the orid who comes into contact with Rab Chanina ben Doisa. This sounds like rock, paper, scissors, you know? Now, Rashi tells us exactly what happened in this nace. When one gets bitten by an orid, if the person can get to fresh water and drink it first, the person will survive and the orid will die. But if the orid gets to water first and drinks, then the orid will survive and the person will die. And this happened that a well, a spring, opened up right under Rab Chanina ben Doisa when he was bit, so he had access to water right away, and that's how the nace occurred.
How does your drinking affect the snake?
I'm not sure. I don't know how this works.
This is what Rashi says?
Yeah, it's the last Rashi. Matzasi behag, Amri b'marava, kisha'arid noishech es ha'adam, im ha'arid kodim l'mayim, mesa adam, im ha'adam kodim l'mayim, mesa arid, v'nasa nes l'Rab Chanina, v'nivka ma'ayin mitachas ha'kevay. Why are you laughing?
I read the Rashi. I wanted Dubit to read the Rashi.
Oh. When I read the Rashi, I didn't know that it means drink. Maybe it means touch the water. But Rabbi Elvin touched it as drinking. So I don't know exactly how it works.
I have the same touch.
What I do know is that humans can be pretty toxic because they can kill oritz.
No, but David has a kasha. How does he have an effect on the Agudah?
I don't know how it works. Yeah, I don't know how it works. Al kolbam, the zelba shayla we had before. How could Reb Chanina ben Doisa risk his life to let himself get killed? How can he do that? So there's a couple of different mahalchim on it, but one mahalach is to make a kiddush shem shemayim, and he knew he was making a kiddush shem shemayim. You're allowed to take certain liberties, and there's other similar svaros. Zok tehelig gemor weiter. Maskirin gevuras keshamim betchis hamesim. Actually, this gets into another whole shaila that they ask. Rabbi Elfin spoke out. The halacha is there's 3 averis chamuras that we have to be moshe nefesh for, right? We have to. The halacha of yehareg val yavar, and davening is not one of them. So, when we discussed earlier about the snake wrapping around you, and if you're allowed, or with the chaser echad, the shaila is there are those who bring a raya from this Gemara that even though there's 3 mitzvahs that yehareg val yavar, where giving up your life is mandatory, you're allowed to give up your life for any mitzvah if you want to. That's one shita. There's other shitas hold no. You're only allowed to give up your life for these 3. You're not allowed to give up your life for anything else unless it's a mokum chil Hashem. So this sugya is one of the sugyas that's brought into the question during that discussion as to whether or not you're allowed to be moshe nefesh for mitzvahs other than the 3 averes hachamuras of Avodah Gilai Reis and Shvichas. Zok the Heilige Mishnah weiter. Maskirin gevuras kesham betchis hamesim. We say mashav ruach hamoyda geshem in the bracha of betchis hamesim. We're not asking for rain there. We're just mentioning that it's one of the gevuras of Hashem that He does that. Usha'ela bebirchas hashanim. But where do we ask? Where do we say the same talamotar? Where are we asking for it? That's in birchas hashanim. Va'avdola b'chaynin adas. And we say avdola like this shita in the bracha of atachaynin. However, there's 2 other shitas. Rabbi Kiva and bracha revis b'fnei atzma. There would be a 4th bracha right after atakadosh. We would say a separate bracha of atachanatanu. And the Beliezer by Da, we would say it by Moedim. Zok the Heilige Gemara weiter. Maskirin gevuras kshamim. My timer. Why is it that we do it in Tchis HaMesim? Am Rabbi Yosef b'toich sheshekula ketchis hamesim. Water, getting water, gevuras kshamim is like Tchis HaMesim. I guess because it's our key to survival. Lefichach kavu b'tchis hamesim. That's why Chazal said that that's where we should do it. My timer. Why do we ask for rain in Baruch Aleinu? Rain is our parnasa. That's how things grow. My timer. Why do we say Havdalah in the bracha of Atach and Antanu? Since it's Chachma, and Rashi says Hachacham Yoideya lahavdil ben kodesh lechoil uvein tamei letar. A Chacham knows how to make the distinctions required for halacha. Therefore, kavua bebirchas hachachma. For Rabbanon, they have a separate bracha right after Atakadosh, which would be right at the beginning of the set of brachas that are only said b'choil. Amri mitoich shi choil, since Atachan Antonu is heralding the beginning of the week, lefichach kavua bebirchas choil. That's why they established to say the bracha of Atachan Antonu right at the beginning of the brachas, the set of brachas that are only for choil. Omer Bami, Gedoyle Deya, knowledge, which is what we're discussing in Atach and Antanu, Shenosno Betchilas Bracha Shal Chayil. Deya is very important because it's the first bracha. Atach and Adam Das is the very first bracha that we're spelled for. So you see, it's very, very important. Omer Bami, Gedoyle Deya, Shenosno Bein Shtei Oisiyos. It was put in between the 2 names of Hashem. Shenemar, it says in the pasuk, Kikeil Deis Hashem. So Deya is sandwiched in between the 2 shemis of the Rebbeinu Shalom.
How did you translate Deya?
Knowledge?
Muzzle?
V'chol mi.
The Deya you said is knowledge or it's logic? Which one is it?
I thought Deya is knowledge. Das.
Actual concept understanding.
Understanding?
It's
Okay.
a little,
So it's deeper than
it's
just
a
knowledge.
nuanced difference. Not because I'm a Chabad.
Chochmah bina das. That's what I thought we were headed there.
That's where it's heading.
V'chol mi she'ein bo yodea, and someone who has no das, also l'rachem olav. On a shoita you should not have rachmanis. Shenemar ki loy am binoisu. He's not a nation of understanding. Al kain lo yerachemenu oisehu. And therefore, his creator will not have rachmanis on him. Amar below gadol. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something you have to work on. Otherwise, how could Hashem say, "I won't have rachmanis on someone without that"? So it must be something that we could develop for ourselves. Maybe understanding is based on working on it, on trying to understand. Because otherwise, it's not fair. Right? It's discriminatory. Yeah. Okay. Omar below gadol mikdash. Great is the base of mikdash. Shenosan ben beis oisis. It's also sandwiched in between two shemas of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Shnemer pa'alta Hashem mikdash Hashem, which we say in as yashir. So the word mikdash is sandwiched between the two shemas of the Rebbeinu Shalom. V'omar belozer. And now that we have a similar structure, mikdash is between two Hashem's names, and das is between two Hashem's names. Rabbi Lozer draws the conclusion that kol adam sheyesh beideya is ki'ilu nivne beis hamikdash biyamav. Why? Because deya nosna ben shtei oisiyos and mikdash niten ben shtei oisiyos. Maskef lo rabacha karchina. So now that you're telling me that anything that's sandwiched in between two shemas of Hashem is like the mikdash, elamayata gedol nakama. Shenasna ben shtei oisiyos. Are you going to say nakama is a great thing? Shenemar keil nakama is Hashem. So now you're going to say nakama is a good thing too? Amalei in b'milsa miya gedolihi, where it's required. Rashi is b'magam shetzricha nakama, where nakama is required. Davar gadolu, it's a very good thing. V'hanid amar Ula, and that's what Ula said. Shtei nakama halalu lama. Why do I need two nakamas? Achas letoiva v'achas l'ra. One for good and one for bad. Rashi's l'ra is lihinake mino akam shalakiblu as a Torah. There's nakama that's mentioned to punish the goyim that did not accept the Torah. And that's the good nakama, and the bad nakama is to punish people who don't do mitzvahs. The Chesiv Vayfiyah Mahar Paran, which is talking about when Hashem offered Torah to all the nations of the world, L'ra d'chsev kel nakama is Hashem, kel nakama is Sefiyah. Zogt in the Heilige Gemara weiter. Rabbi Kiva Eimer Brachos Revius. Amalei Rabbi Shammai bar Abel Rabbi Yochanan Michti. Let's think about this. Anshe Knesset Agdola, David, this is your favorite kasha. Anshe Knesset Agdola tiknu lahem liyisrael brachos utfilos kedushos v'avdolos. The Anshe Knesset Agdola were masakin all of these things. Nechsi, let's see. Nechsi, heichan zikun. Why don't we look at the takana that they made and how they made it? Amalei betchila kavua betfila. Originally, when they were masakin it betfila. And then, Heshiru, the Yidden became more wealthy, they had more resources, so then, Kavu alakais. So Rashi tells us right here that the original takana was done by Ezra. When Ezra was masakin, they didn't have much money, so they were put it in the tefillah. Then they became wealthier, I guess, as the period of the second Beis HaMikdash started. So they said, people have money now, so let's Kavu alakais. They said that they should make Avdal alakais. Now everybody made it alakais, no one said it in Shemon Esrei anymore, so they forgot what the original takana was when Ezra made it to say it in Shemon Esrei. And when they became poor, chazu v'kavu b'tfilah, and that's where they were, why there was confusion. Now the Art Scroll here speaks out something very interesting. How come the Gemara doesn't always ask this? He says most of the time when the Gemara asks, how was the takana? It's because there was dispute or there were different minhagim and there were always issues. But Havdalah, which is something that everybody says every single week, there it's a little unusual. How could we have forgotten? It's something that we practice every single week. So that's why it required a little bit of an extra explanation. It's because for a time they were saying it ala kais and not in the tefillah. And then once they did that, they also at the same time said, Vein amru hamavdal b'tefillah tzarich sheyavdal ala kais. They said from now on, do both. This way we won't forget anything. So when they reestablished Havdalah But tefillah, they should also said if you have money, you should do it al kois as well. Itmar nami Omar B'chiba Abba Omar B'Yechanan. Anshei Knesset HaGedolah tiknu le'emli Yisrael brachos u'tfilos kedushas v'avdolos. Betchila kavu betfila he'eshiru kavu ala kois. Chazru v'he'anu kavu betfila v'hem omru hamavdol betfila tzorich sheyavdol al hakois. Itmar nami Rabbi v'Rabbi Yosef d'Amri Tavayu hamavdol betfila tzorich sheyavdol al hakois. Omar Rava u'mosfina nashmaitin. And we asked a kasha from on our halacha, because it says Tav hizker gvuros kashavim betchias hamesim. What if by mistake you forgot to mention Morid Geshem or Ushayla B'Birchas Hashanim or Saint Alamoter in Baruch Aleinu? Machzir Noisei. You have to say over Shemon Esrei. But now what we have to focus on, V'Havdalah B'Chaynin Adas, if you forgot to say Atachan Antanu, Ein Machzir Noisei, you don't repeat it. Because you could say it alakois. So you want to say that Rabbi Rabbi Yosef the Amr Tavayu hamabel with tefillah tzarich sheyavdal alakois, meaning you have to do both. Here it seems to say it's only optional. It's not mandatory. Explain the Brisa that the reason why you don't repeat Shemon Esrei if you skipped Atachan Antanu is because you will say it alakois, because that's what the minig is. Itmanami Omar ben Yamin by Yefes Shol Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yechanan b'Tzidon. Rabbi Yossi asked Rabbi Yechanan in Tzidon v'Amri La Rabbi Shimon ben Yaakov the Mintzur as Rabbi Yechanan, or maybe it was Rabbi Shimon ben Yaakov from Tzur who asked Rabbi Yechanan. V'Nash Shomas, and I heard the exchange. I heard the discussion, and this is how it went down. Hamavdol b'Tefillah tzorich sheyavdol alakois oloi. Do you have to make Avdol alakois if you made Avdollah already in Chayrin Adas? V'Amar and he told them tzorich sheyavdol alakois. Iboilu, he asked another shayla. How about if you made Avdollah first before Meir? Hamavdol alakois. Mao sheyavdol b'Tefillah. You have to now say Atachan Antanu. Omar B'Nachman, but you took Kavachomer mitfila. You can make a Kavachomer from Tefillah. Umat Tefillah the Iker Tekantehi. Madach Tefillah, which is the Iker Tekanta. Because if you don't have a kois, you for sure say Atachan Antanu and Shemona Esrei. Amri, we still said Hamavdol b'Tefillah tzorich sheyavdol alakois. So Hamavdol alakois, the lav Iker Tekantehi, like Kolshagain, surely, even though you made Avdollah alakois, you should do Avdollah in Chayrin Adas. Tanu Rabacha Aricha, the tall Rabacha said, Kamed Rab Chinina, Hamavdol b'Tefillah mishubach yoser mimishi yavdol alakois. If you're Mavdol b'Tefillah, it's more mishubach than the one who's Mavdol alakois. V'im hivdol bezu ubezu, and if you made Havdollah in both places, yanuchu like Brachos haroishay, they should put Brachos on the side. That's phenomenal. For this memory itself is contradictory. Amrit, you first said Hamavdol b'Tefillah mishubach yoser mimishi yavdol alakois. It's better to say Avdollah b'Tefillah than on the kois, meaning one or the other. Alma Tefillah l'chudah sagi. You're only supposed to, or it's enough alone to say Avdollah in Chayrin Adas. V'hadar tani, and then you go on and say Im hivdol bezu yanuchel Brachos al roishay. Makes no sense, because v'kivan denafik lebechada. If you were already yoytze Havdollah in Atachan Antanu, ifter, now you're potter. So you can't just go make willy-nilly your own brachas. V'hav your bracha she'nei tzricha. Now you're just making a bracha that was not necessary. V'amar Rav v'temer Yishlakish. V'amri la Rabbi Yechanan v'Yishlakish tamar Tervayu, or maybe they both said, Kol ha'mavarich bracha she'nei tzricha, oiver mishum lo'isisa, Hashem Hashem Elokecha la'shov. You're not allowed to make extra brachas. So if you made Avdollah b'Chayrin Adas, how could you say Yanuchu brachas al roishay if you now make another bracha? Ela ema hachi. This is what you should say. Im hivdol bezu, v'lo hivdol bezu. If you only made one Avdollah, not the other, then Yanuchu brachas al roishay. Which is not how we pass on halacha l'maisa, but the Gemara is going to fear us. What if he forgot to say Havdollah in both cases? Now, what do you mean you forgot? So say it when you remember. So the Arshgol speaks out from the Rishonim that it means if you're not supposed to eat before Havdollah. So if you ate before, that's called ta. That would be called a ta. Ma, what's halacha? Amar lei ta bezu chayzel roish. He has to say it over again. It means he has to do both. He has to say tefillah again without Atachan, and he has to make Avdollah b'kois. Amar Ravina l'Rava hilchos umay. So this is negei halacha l'maisa. Amar lei ki kiddush. We're going to treat Avdollah like kiddush. Ma kiddush, just like kiddush. Afal gav de mekadosh b'tzalusa. Even though we said vayichulu, and we make kiddush in our Shemona Esrei. Mekadosh akasa. When we come home, we're mekadosh again on a kois. Af Havdalah Nami, Avagav the Mavdal B'Tzelusa, even though we said Havdalah B'Choyin Das, Mavdal Akasa, he does make Havdalah again in Akasa. I mean, in Mexican, in Spanish, it means in his house, but it means on the kois. It means on the kois. Rabbi Lezer Amar Baidah. Rabbi Zeir have a rochiv chamra. Rabbi Zeir was riding a donkey. Have a kashakol va'azul Rabbi Chiya ba'avin basrei. Rabbi Chiya ba'avin came after him. So you see, even when he's traveling on the road, people were all over him to ask him shilas. I remember I was once driving my Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Shmuel Kamenetsky, and when I used to drive him, it takes time. You lose seder. So what I would do is I would prepare shilas that I wanted to ask him on the sugi that the shiva was learning, and I would ask him in the car. At least I had an opportunity. So I'm driving, and he's trying to relax, and I'm asking him one question. Okay, he answers it. And then another question, and he answers it. He says, where are you getting these questions from? I said, hey, I have it written down. He says, give me the paper. Give him the paper. He rolls out the window, throws it out the window. Okay, drive. We did hear Rabbi Eliezer who holds you make Havdalah by Moedim, the halacha would be like Rabbi Yehuda, where b'yom tov shechol yos achar Shabbos. So we say v'atoy dienu, which is going to be the maskon of this Gemara. But if Mot Shabbos is Yom Tov, what's the Havdalah? So did we hear it? Everybody agrees that then you would say Havdalah in Moedim. Amalei in halacha. That's halacha. So Gemara mechlal the pligi. So does that mean there are others who would argue and hold even on Yom Tov, you would not say Havdalah by Dah, you would say it elsewhere? So he answered back, V'loi pligi, are you saying they don't argue by Yom Tov? V'loi pligi Rabbanan. The Rabbanan argue, and the Rabbanan say that Havdalah is said, what does the Rabbanan say in the Mishnah? When is Havdalah said? The Rabbanan say Havdalah is said in Chayin Adas. So of course there's a machlokes about it. Yeah. No? The Tanakhama doesn't say in Chayin Adas? Yeah. Okay, but it wouldn't be by Das. It would be at the first set of brachos. It would be incorporated into the brachos of Yom Tov, which is what we do at the end. So where do the Rabbanan argue? And this is exactly Mati's Taina B'Shayim Moshe Shana. During the weekdays, where you can put it into Atachan Antanu, maybe that's where they argue on Rabbi Eliezer. But the Yom Tov Shechol Yos Achar Shabbos Mi Pligi. Who said they argue? So again, if there's no machlokes, and you seem to have said there is a machlokes, but no. Rabbi Kiva, maybe Rabbi Kiva argues because Rabbi Kiva said that you say a separate bracha. All year long we don't pass like Rabbi Kiva. There's nothing to talk about. So you need to tell you that on Yom Tov we don't pass like Rabbi Kiva. So again, why do you need to tell me halacha as if to say someone's arguing? There is nobody who's arguing that we need to tell you about. Rabbi Kiva, I don't need to tell you about because we never pass like Rabbi Kiva. Why don't we pass like Rabbi Kiva all year? The Tam Nesrei Tikkun, to history light Tikkun, because there's 18 brachas in Shemini Esrei, in the base Shemini Esrei, not 19. So Hakanami, so on Yom Tov as well, Shev Tikkun, there's 7 brachas. Tamni light Tikkun, there's not supposed to be an 8th bracha. So Rabbi Kiva we don't have to worry about. Now the Gemara doesn't answer this question. The Gemara does not answer this question why he had to speak on halacha. But now the Gemara goes off on a different point. How sure and how loud was this halacha broadcasted? Amar lei, lav halacha itmar elamatan itmar. Now Rashi tells us there's 3 levels. Halacha means you can broadcast publicly, this is halacha. Matan means if you're not going to broadcast it, but if someone asks you the halacha, you'll paskin that way. And then nirin means you don't even paskin that way, but if someone does it, you let him get away with it. So he said, Lav halacha itmar, it wasn't a broadcasted halacha, elamatan itmar. He just said that if you'd ask the rabbi will tell you, like Rabbi Eliezer by Dah. The itmar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdimi Amar Mishum Rabbeinu. Halacha, he said halacha, v'amar la matan, and some people say it's only matan, you only paskin that way, not broadcasted. And Rabbi Chanina Amar, moedim. Rabbi Chanina says moedim, Rabbi Yochanan Amar moedim, Rabbi Chiva bar Amar nirin. So moedim, Rashi says, moedim chacham Rabbi Eliezer b'yom tov shechol yos achar Shabbos. So Rabbi Yochanan holds their moedah, meaning there's no machlokes at all. So for sure that's the halacha. And Rabbi Chiva says nirin, meaning that's not the halacha, but if someone did it that way, you won't make him say it over. Amar Abzer Nekait Reb Chia bar Abba biyatcha. You know who you should listen to? You should listen to Reb Chia bar Abba. You know why? Because the Dayik v'Gomer Shmaitzim Epuma Demora Shapir, he was so precise in getting clarity in everything that he learned from his Rebbes that you could rely on something that he repeats that it's completely accurate. And who is he like? He's like Rachba the Pumbedisa, who is also super accurate. Damar Rachba, Amar Yehuda. Now, around Harabayis, there were these sets of benches that had covers over them, so that people who were coming up to be Oila Regel, if it was raining, they had like a bus shelter, they had a place to rest. Now, the word to describe a bench is itztava. Itztava is the right word to refer to as a bench, but his Rebbeim didn't use the word itztava, they used the word setov. So, Rachba quoted Yehuda as saying, Harabai setov kafaloya. There wasn't one row of benches, there were actually 2 rows of benches, while yistav lefnim mistav. So the godless is that he used the exact wording that he got from his Rebbe. He didn't use the word itztava, he used the word stav. That's what Rashi says in his first shot, which is what Rashi prefers. So you see, Rachba was so medactic, so his report of a psak halacha you could rely on, because you know it's crystal clear. Amar Rabbi Yosef, and so too Reb Chia was also so medactic, and therefore you could trust him. And Reb Chia B'Abba said nirin, meaning be'etzem we don't paskin like Rabbi Eliezer on Yom Tov, but if someone did it, you let him get away with it. Amar Rabbi Yosef, ano loy hayadan of loy hayadan. I don't know from nothing. I'll tell you what I know. Elami de Rav Shmuel Yadana. I heard a clear psak from Rav Shmuel that the Kinulon Marganisa Bavel, they were masakin a beautiful gem in Bavel. And this is what we pass in Allah Lamaisa, that we say right before Vatitin Lanu, we say Vataydedu Hashem Alakenus Mishbit Kecha, Vatlam Denu Lasas Chuke Ritzanecha, Vatan Chilenu Zamane Sosain V'Chagi Nidova, Vatoyrishenu Kedusha Shabbos, V'Chaved Moyed V'Chagiyas Haragel, Ben Kedusha Shabbos, Lukushas Yom Tov Hivdalta, V'Zyom HaShvi, Mesheshishim Mehamaisa, Kidashta, Hivdalta V'Kidashta Es Amcha Yisrael B'Kedusha Secha, and then we go on to Vatitin Lanu. So that's how we do halacha l'maisa. Zok to Gemara weiter. Ha'omer al kan tzipor yagiu rachamecha. If someone said, Hashem, you're a rachamim, you're a merachim, you know how you're merachim? Because look, you're merachim on the birds, and before you take birds, it says, Lasikach ha'im alabonim, rather, shalech tishalach ha'im, you're a merciful God. V'al toiv yizach hashemecha, and your name should be remembered for good, or moidim, as if he's bowing down to 2 people. Mishas kenoi, so you say, Shah, you're not allowed to say that. It's clear why you don't let someone say that. It almost looks like he's giving hoidah to 2 separate rishuyos, which is avodah zara. I understand why you shouldn't say we remember Hashem for His good, because it's as if to say that the bad that Hashem does we don't recognize as also good, and we know it is good because it's non chayiv adam lavarich ala ra. So that's why you can't only thank Hashem for good. What's wrong with talking about the rachamim of the Rebbeinu Shalom? There's 2 Amarim who argue in my Rava. Rabbi Yossi bar Avin, Rabbi Yossi bar Zvida. Chad Amar once said because if you say Hashem has rachmanis on the mother birds, the lizards are going to say, what am I, chopped liver? The elephants are going to say, what am I, chopped liver? You're only merachim on birds, so you cannot create jealousy around the animals and or amongst all the beings. The Chadamar, another one says, it's like you're saying the reason why Hashem tells us to do things, and you're justifying and you're explaining why Hashem asks us to do things, and that's very, very dangerous, because ve'enan el gzeres. We have to listen to Hashem because the gzeres that He told us to do. If you say, we do good things because Hashem has rachmanis, well then when there's certain halachas that we might not understand as being good, like shchita, people say, shchita is brutal, you're not allowed to do it. So you cannot justify mitzvahs by saying that they're because of Hashem's mercy. Mitzvahs are done because Hashem has a deeper understanding and He knows what we need to do, and that's why we do it, no questions asked.
But there's a merciful component in it.
That's right.
Every single one of the
That's right.
mitzvahs,
That's right. That's right. And but al kan tzipor yagir rachamecha.
You can't say that the reason for it is
I guess so.
merciful, right?
I guess so. I guess that's what it is. That's right. Avada, we're allowed to talk that Hashem is merciful. We say Racham V'chanan, right? But I guess we're not supposed to say the mitzvahs. The reason for the mitzvahs are merciful. How did Nachash Kamei de Rabbah? Someone showed up in front of Rabbah. V'amar, and he said, Ata chasta al kan sipor. You, Hashem, had rachmanis on the kan sipor. Ata chus v'rachem aleinu. Hashem had rachmanis on us. Amar Rabbah. Rabbah said, Kama yoda haitzuva merabban l'ritzul l'morei. What a beautiful expression. This fellow knows, this Rabbanan knows how to be miratz to the Rabban Shalom. He knows how to pull the Rabban Shalom's kavayachel's heartstrings. Amar Abai, what are you talking about, Rabbah? The Brachos says, the Mishnah we just said, you're not allowed to say that. Rabbah said, oh, Abai, I just wanted to make sure you were listening. Now I know you were listening. He just wanted to make sure you're listening. Amri, he said as follows. This Gemara reminds me of Mr. Aryeh, and you tell me if you can figure out why. Himtin loy, he says Kaddish. He has like a 30-item list. I like their Kaddish better. It's much more demanding. So he waited patiently. Adesayim, Kisayim, Amalei, Siyamtinu, Lechulu Shvachi Demorach. Have you finished listing all of the Shvachas of the Rebbeinu Shalom? Like you got it down pat? You know it all? Lama Likulahai. How could you possibly list off all these Shvachas? Ke'ilu, that you're getting the full listing. Anan Hanit Last Amrinon, even the three that we say in Shemoneh Esrei, Hakel, Hagodah, Hagibor, V'Anoira, so Godel, Gibor, Anoira, even those we shouldn't really have a license to say. Ilav Amrinu Moshe Rabbeinu Da'iraisa. If Moshe Rabbeinu would not have said that in the Torah, where he said in Dvorim, Hakel, Hagodel, Hagibor, V'Anoira, Shalayis upon him, Likach Shoichad, and V'osu Anche Knesset Hagdolah V'Tekninu B'Tfilah, and Anche Knesset Hagdolah, put it in the Tfilah, Lo Yahavinin Yechayin L'Memerlu. We wouldn't dare say it because that limits the Rebbeinu Shalom Shvachas. Va'at Amrit Kulahai, and you're going to list off Hashem Shvachas, Va'azlis, and you're going to list them off and go on. Mashal Melech Basav Adam. It's a mashal for a Melech Basav Adam. Shoyu Elef Alpayim Dinari Kesef. He had thousands of dinari zav. He had thousands of golden dinarim. V'yu Mekalsa Noisoi B'Shal Kesef. And they would say, what a nice, oh look, he has silver. You're not even scratching the surface of the godless. That's like someone who has a little Toyota and it has a bumper sticker that says, my other car is a Rolls Royce. And you say, wow, I love your Toyota, right? Or the Tuvia baseball hat that says, my other hat's a Borsellino, right? And you say, oh, I love your baseball hat. It's a bizayin. So too, how could you even try to list off any shvachas of the Rebbeinu Shalom? We can't even scratch the surface. Everything's in the hands of the heavens except for Yiras Shamayim, which we have to get on our own. What is already Hashem asking you for? So you see, that's what we're responsible to deliver to the table. Parnasa and Gesund and all the other things we ask from the Rebbeinu Shalom. But it's our job to have Yira. The Torah is making it sound like it's easy. Otu Yiras Shamayim milsa zutrasahi. Is Yiras Shamayim such a simple thing? It's very difficult. So it's a great thing. It's not a small thing. You have to look at the context. Who's Hashem talking to? In Lagabi Moshe milsa zutrasahi. I'm sorry, this is Moshe talking. Lagabi Moshe. Moshe is saying, from Moshe's perspective, it's not a big deal. No matter what someone asks you for, if you have it, it's not a big deal. But if he asks for a katan, if he asks you for something small and you don't have it, it's like a big thing. If you're in the trades and you need a tiny little tool and you don't have it, it messes your whole day up. So it's more important than the most important tool in the world. I once heard Reb Hirschsprung. Reb Hirschsprung is the shver of Dave Younger. And Dave Younger used to come out to Bill Yort. So I remember when Reb Hirschsprung used to come to Bill Yort. And it was always at the end of Av, at the beginning of Elul. So he once said, in Davening, in Shemoneh Esrei, V'titin Luni. No, he says, we say V'titin Luni, no, he says V'chein ten pachtecha. We say V'chein ten pachtecha. I don't remember. V'chein ten pachtecha. He asked around here. Here you're all here in Bill Yurt. Is that what you yearn for every day? That's what keeps you up at night? That you don't have enough Yiras Shamayim? But betracht gitaran Rabbi Yisai. Pachtecha is begematria geld. So Lamed and Ayin is 100, and Gimel and Tes is 12. It's 112. Pachtacha, the gematria Pachtacha is 112. So why is that relevant? So he says, Moshe Rabbeinu asked, "Achash sha'alti meis Hashem oisav akesh." One thing I want, Shivti b'meis Hashem. But then you go back to the rest of the committal. There's a whole long list. So you ask for a finger and then you're trying to get a hand. That's a little bit aggressive, would you not say? So where did Moshe Rabbeinu get that chutzpah from? So Zokar Hirsching from this pasuk. If you look at the rest of the